to work remote or to not work remote. So I currently been working remote for since April 2020. So obviously, my job was in the office, and then we went remote, but I got furloughed. So when I was on unemployment, um, I was on LinkedIn and got an inside sales job that was remote. So I kind of fell into the remote lifestyle. And at that point, I was living in New York City. Since I was working remote, I went to Florida for a little bit, and then I went to Texas. So I stumbled upon being a digital nomad by having a square 9 to 5 inside sales position. So I currently still work remote, but at a different company. So like how I got my remote job is I type in whatever you are. If you're a bookkeeper, if you do like IT, or if you do like sales, I go on LinkedIn or I go on Indeed, and I type in whatever the job description is. If you, let's say for example, you do AWS, I do AWS, and then I'll just do remote. I won't even put a city, and see in the job description if the company really is remote. The company that I work at now, they hire people in the Philippines, they have people in Israel, they have people in Thailand. um, they have people all throughout the United States. The headquarters is in San Francisco. So like I do medical supplies. So like their identity, they brag about being remote, and they brag about having employees all around the globe. So like, that's something that I would look for, because I know a lot of people wanna, jet set, be digital nomads, travel and whatnot. So like I like it. Obviously, working remote, you can wake up before your job. You don't have to have a car. You don't have to, spend time commuting and whatnot like that. So obviously it cuts down on transportation costs. And the number one reason that I think people want to work remote is because of geo arbitrage. So if you can get hired by a remote US company that pays in USD, and you it's actually fully remote. There's no VPN restrictions. You can go to South America, you can go to Eastern Europe, you can go to Asia if you want to work overnight. So then you can kind of save money and work remote and travel all at the same thing. I like to call it a work vacation. So like I had a trainer where I was doing Medicare sales, and I was like, yeah, can we go work for Mexico? And the trainer was like, I wouldn't want to do that. If I'm in Mexico, I would want to just be on the beach on vacation. But I'm like, yo, I don't really got no responsibilities. I'm trying to like, go to Mexico and be Playa del Carmen and work, and then after work go party, and then the weekends and party, and get the month to month being Airbnbs and whatnot. But I feel like some people, they're like the situation or whatever like that. They're not open to that, but a lot of people are. So I would, I found the majority of my remote jobs I find on Indeed, but it just, excuse me, this really just depends on what field you're in and whatnot. But like, yeah, once you get that remote job and stuff like that, usually, I mean, it's like not I'm not talking about any hybrid, like, oh, you got to train in the office and then remote. I'm talking about like strictly, and if it's really remote, if it's people who work in that company that's live in different countries, and then like it's on and it's popping. You know what I'm saying? So like I love the remote, and then it kind of segues into other things and whatnot, so especially if you were like, okay, I'm about to focus on something else when I would normally be commuting, what I'm saying? You still kind of have that same amount of work time and leisure time. But working remote is cool. I mean, obviously you don't get the human interactions, you can't really, pull up on if you're trying to get a in-person work wife. You can't really do that. But so like working remote has been great. I don't have a car, what I'm saying? So I, turn on that laptop, log in, and then we are good to go. So, in the next coming weeks, I'm going to take advantage of switching locations and trying to take advantage of geo arbitrage. So you're gonna see me in some different countries very soon. But I just wanted to talk about remote work. I know for people who are looking for like bookkeeping jobs, a lot of CPA firms are virtual. like inside sales. There's some like moving companies. There's moving companies that hire, you can do that remote, you know what I mean? They get their leads online and stuff like that, call center type thing. Some like real estate companies that do referrals, or like if you're a mortgage broker, that's a remote gig. For the most part, I know like better.com. I had worked at Yelp, which is remote, but you can't work outside the country though. I have friends at better.com and they're remote, but I'm not sure if you can work outside the country and whatnot. I just want to kind of give a few different ideas about remote. I probably had like a few different remote jobs. I don't want to say how many in the last 2 years. And trying to figure it out what's a good fit. So I'm at a company where it's a good fit, and it's gonna allow me to kind of be flexible and fluid and make sure that my weekends are extravagant. And then obviously it's kind of expensive in the States, so I definitely want to get to a city that's a little cheaper. And then also obviously for content, I got the iPhone 12 4K. So this is like actually my first video that I'm shooting, a second video actually that I'm shooting in 4K. And so I got a little tripod. If I know some people like wonder what equipment are you using. Like I posted YouTube videos in like 2020 on like, you know, trading derivatives and whatnot like that. But then I'm about to open up the floodgates and just talk about random stuff. So I'm gonna talk about like, you know, dating. I'll probably do a video on Dallas, Texas, to give you guys a little insight of what else, you know what I'm saying. I've lived in like, let's say 6 different cities. So I'll probably do videos talking about the cities and stuff like that. But I wanted to, like, you know, I know there's a lot of people talking about remote work, you know, fire your boss and stuff like that. So obviously my goals is to be consistent on YouTube, build it up and start getting some YouTube money. So before I was trying to you know, sell like a finance course and stuff like that, but I wasn't consistent with it. But now, since I work remote, I want to do some traveling, do some blogging, get some good content with this camera that I got, and then really just enjoy my leisure time and weekends, and you know, hopefully the goal is within 2-3 years to go full time and start doing more different content. So yeah, so I work remote. It is possible. You gotta apply for a lot of different companies. Some companies will say they're remote, but then be like, oh, you gotta be in a specific state, or we want you in the office. They try to do the bait and switch. But you know, I've gotten a few different remote jobs. So like two or three decent ones where it's just like, okay, you know, but like the company that I work at now, the culture is good. And people are friendly. I mean, it's a job. You still gotta, you know, grind it out for 40 hours and whatnot like that. But it also, you know, it allows me to be location independent, and I'm gonna take full advantage of that. Like, so like right now I was in a month-to-month rental. So I recently just told my landlord that I am out at the end of the month. And obviously like we were cool. I've been in Dallas for like a year and a half. So like I was so cool with the owner. He's Vietnamese. He's gonna take me out to dinner. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, anytime you wanna come back, da-da-da. So like usually like this spot, it's a 3-2. So like a lot of like for real estate investors, he has like 2 properties. He has another property. So I found this property on Airbnb. There's 2 other rooms. So like when I got here, there was a guy from England. There was a guy who was in college studying to be like a general contractor type person. And he was like at like Texas A&M, but doing an internship at a construction firm during the summertime. And then like a travel nurse moved in. So like it been, I had cool roommates and stuff like that. But like during COVID, obviously countries wasn't open like that. But now the floodgates are open. So shields are down, Scotty, fire.